What's happening, guys? So we got some wind and some cloud, so we decided to do this in-house today instead of doing it on the water. I've been meaning to do this little chit chat and kind of informative information for you guys, kind of put it out there. So I'm not new to the Fishfinder. As you can see, the Fishfinder here, this is a new acquisition for this year. I decided to kind of venture out and get myself an affordable unit. I didn't need anything huge. I didn't need anything lavish. I needed information. So we went with the Striker 4 CV, the Vivid. I got it on sale on Amazon for Christmas. It was kind of my Christmas gift to myself. So at this point right now, I'm using it fairly every day, every trip now, especially with charters and when I'm like scouting. So I'm using it for two reasons. So reason number one, obviously, if I'm fishing deeper water, I'm looking for reliefs. I'm looking for sounding to fish. I'm trying to look for structure. If I'm fishing at 4 to 5, maybe even 6, I'm looking for grass. I'm looking for structure, somewhere where fish are going to hold tight, which is the traditional use of a fish finder. Obviously, you're looking for depth, but I find myself, since I fish a lot of shallow flats, I'm fishing 1 foot to 3 feet of water. I'm using this as an information guide. So I'm looking for water temperature, which now in the wintertime is going to be key. It's still key in the summertime as well too. I'm using it strictly for information. So given scenario, we've had a couple cold fronts come through, nothing out of this world, but the water temperatures have dropped. So I find myself finding 68, 67 degree water, and I'm not finding fish. So Fishfinder's giving me this information that prior to the Fishfinder, I knew the water was cold. So that's all I knew. But now I'm gathering this information. I'm grabbing air temperature, I'm grabbing wind, I'm sun, cloudy. I'm putting all this information that I'm gathering on a daily basis and combining it all together to give myself a gauge of where to do, what to do. So I'm also looking at water depth. So obviously 1 foot sounder kind of alarms. I already know that we're in that 1 foot. So if I'm finding fish and let's say 2 feet of water, the sounder's saying 2 feet of water and the water temperature is 72 degrees, that's where fish are going to be comfortable. So guess what? I'm going to focus my attention now on 2 foot range. I can gauge it off of eyesight, but having this information and being very accurate about it kind of hones you into a certain area. So once you start kind of peeling off 1.8, 1.5, you can tell water temperatures have dropped just a hair or a degree or two, make a huge difference. So obviously I'm not finding fish, so I slide myself out. So now I'm finding myself honing into a 2 foot range, and I got 72, 73 degree water. So maybe I push out a little bit and go a little bit deeper, 3, 4 feet. So now I know I'm in the 3, 4 feet. I'm very accurate as far as the depth goes, and my water temperature dropped again. It went down to 68, so deeper water wasn't the case. So I stick to where I'm finding fish. So if I'm visualizing, I'm seeing fish in 2 feet of water, my water temperature is 72. So now I made a mental note. I'm going to put this all down. I'm going to write it all down. All right, I got air temperature that's 72. I got water temperature that's 72 as well too. It's kind of matching the air temperature, and I got sunny sky and a light breeze. So, okay, perfect. Now I got all this information, so I can replicate all this information that I've gathered for future trips. So don't sleep on the fact that a fish finder is just to fish deeper water and to sound and look for stuff. Obviously it is. 100% you need it if you're going to be fishing deeper water. It gives you an idea what water depth you're going to be working in, if you're working in 10, 12, 20. But just because you're fishing in shallower water doesn't mean that you can power it off. I wouldn't. I've learned that having this unit on and glancing at it every once in a while to gauge where I'm at and to keep myself on track and gather this information has been pivotal lately. Especially a couple weeks ago, we had real cold water, and finding that 72, 73 degree water was key. It was an astronomical turning point. And one of my trips with my client, we're finding very cold water the entire time. I stumbled into that 72, 73, and we were kind of playing around with 2, 3 foot of water, and sure enough, the fish started showing up. And we had a successful day. We caught a couple bonefish, and we saw a couple permit. We actually hooked the permit and lost it. So having the unit was detrimental to that course that day. So I'm starting to put this into my repertoire as far as fishing goes. I think having as much information as you can possibly gather for every trip and jotting this information down and making mental notes of this, you can begin to make a pattern for seasons and for times of the year that you're fishing, and you can start replicating it. So if you know there's an area that you like to fish and you're fishing shallow water, say 1-2 feet of water, and it's not happening, you start moving around and you start finding the key elements. All right, water temperature went up, this cove or this bite is a little more calm, it's out of the lee, so it's not gonna be wind blown and the water temperatures are gonna spike out. But you're not finding fish at 1 feet because the water temperature is 69. But you venture out inside the cove a little bit out, a little farther away from the shoreline, and you're in that 2 feet range, and now your water temperature is 71, 72. You start finding fish. So now you can put this information down and be like, all right, these certain scenarios that you're going to find a million of them, but this certain scenario, because of the unit and because of the application of the information that you've gathered off the unit and from your surroundings, now you're able to put a day together and start keeping this pattern, and you can replicate it. All right, let's move down a mile or half a mile and go to the next cove and kind of start try to replicate it and so forth. So this is my take on a unit and getting a fish finder. It necessarily doesn't always have to be to sound and look for fish. Yes, it works. You can see fish. I've used it. I've caught fish off of it as well too, fishing deeper water. But I've used the information even in shallow water, not sounding fish, but sounding depth and water temperature. It's made a big difference in my fishing game lately. So that's my 2 cents, guys. Hopefully you guys can gather something off of this and use it for your success out on the water. Catch you on the flip. I got to continue to get ready. I got charters coming up, and yeah, it's gonna get busy soon. So you'll see some more of me on screen and some more information that I stumble upon, and I think you guys can use it. So guys, to the next one, catch some fish. Remember to subscribe. Like, helps me out, gives me information as far as, again, topic today's information, gives me information on what you guys are liking and what topics I should lean on a little bit more, so help you guys out in that learning curve. And hope you guys enjoy. Catch you next time. I'm going to continue getting ready and probably go have lunch. I'm kind of hungry. All right, guys, take it easy.